And well-known American Brit Yannick, and we're all focusing on Leona Popovic. Not as clear on the second run as she was coming into this race yesterday, with half a second, less than half a second separating the top 10, but Popovic, who won her first Europa Cup slalom here 24 hours ago, will be the big favourite to do the double. Or Brit, our first question for you. Is there somebody that can take top position away from Popovic today on this challenging second leg?
Well, it's certainly within reach for the others because the times are so tight between their first 3-5. But I think it's Popovic out front, and they're chasing her down because she is skiing so strong and with that intensity that's a little bit above the rest at the moment.
And of course, Leona Popovic, who's lying 14th in the World Cup slalom rankings. Leona comes with podium performances from the World Cup Tour. Now, the Europa Cup, for those of you that are unfamiliar with the different circuits, is kind of the breeding ground. It's a circuit that is known as the B Tour, and it's where the youngsters often prepare their skills and confidence to move up to the World Cup. And some of the World Cup stars come back to the Europa Cup Tour to sharpen their skills in preparation for the top tour. I was very impressed with Elena Stufel, who's just 200ths of a second, but this is Popovic, Croatia's young, new, rising slalom star from the World Cup circuit. An emphatic victory here yesterday and will be tough to beat today. But as Britt has just pointed out, any one of the top 10, to be fair, could win this race with less than half a second. But the top 30 go in reverse order. So Janine Meikler of Switzerland will get the action underway. She's 1.94 seconds off the pace. And then there's some good skiers to the mid part of the challenge here, including Andrea Schlocker. Little disappointed with her form at these Europa Cup races. Schlocker, another World Cup winner. 10th position for the British racer Charlie Guest, who was second in this race yesterday. Mondinelli was third 24 hours ago. Then we get to the last 5 in the chase. And look how close they are. 12.12 off the pace. Then we'll go through the other skiers after 31, weather permitting, from Kim van Roozel all the way through to skier number 60. So it's a little different, the Europa Cup Tour, to the World Cup Tour races, where we do allow those skiers outside of the top 30 to try and get into the top 30, earn a few points on the second leg. And you can see that top 60 qualification goes all the way down to Lien Bonder, 4.03 seconds off the pace. It's the top 30 where the shootout really lies. It's the weather conditions that could be the make or break for many in this competition. New pattern of turns, remember, set by the Austrian coach. And let's see how this race unfolds. Janine Meikler, first out on course. For us, Brit, a first chance to get a look at this new pattern of turns at race pace. The weather condition looks a little brighter. Visibility is a lot better at this point in the race. And as for Ginny Michler of Switzerland, an opportunity finishing 30th to really try and move up the ranking with the smooth, clean track.
Yeah, she has a really good opportunity here to take advantage of this early start number. We can see that down this steep pitch, again, a little bit more turn. We saw that in yesterday's second run. So, when she's getting back on the heels, but that delay's in the right spot, that right-footed delay gate to catch her and allow her to stay in the course.
So that's the target time over the two legs, 1 minute 28.95 seconds. For now, Janine Michler of Switzerland is the new leader. A little like this first run, we'll be rushing them out the start gate as quick as we can as we're chasing this storm here, trying to stay ahead of it to be precise. This is the 29th quickest skier from the first run. Top 30 going in reverse order, remember. Maja Varoschitz, Austrian racer, who picked up some good points in this competition yesterday, skiing into 19th position.
Yeah, she'll be wanting to move up the rankings here in the second run very quick through this opening flat section. And there, a little bit of trouble coming over the breakover. They're coming into the steeps with quite a bit of speed from that quick section set across the flats.
Yeah, it seems very similar, doesn't it, to the second leg of yesterday. A good off-swing coming in. It's a Swiss coach that has set this second run, 0.49 into the lead for Varoschitz. That's pretty much on form to where she skied yesterday. It's one of the Swiss coaches that have created this second leg, and hopefully that will help the Swiss ladies that are lying second and third. Now, 28th position after the first run is the first of the Norwegians, Andrine Marstuhl.
Really smooth up here in the opening section. On this flatter part of the course, it's really important to keep link the turns together, not break the arc, and really carry speed. It's the speed that you can develop between the turns.
Not quite dynamic enough for my liking. 0.43 off the pace at the halfway split. Focusing on the accuracy of the race line, but not getting enough acceleration out of that turning ski. And also here we see Andrine just dropping a little late in the line on the dogleg turn. The Norwegian into second position, 600ths off the pace. Piste conditions getting a little quicker. Now the soft snow has been brushed off. Let's move on quickly. Eliane Christin of Switzerland, 27th quickest from the first run. Remember, the new target time is set at 1:28.46.
And these opening turns are really quick. There's two combinations back to back, so have to look ahead. You need to anticipate those rhythm changes. A delayed gate there, right into a triple combination gate.
Already 0.21 off the pace for Kristen. You've got to be very positive as you make that move from flat to steep. And again, Kristen getting caught on the tails of the skis. It's kind of thrown her focus and a rhythm in these closing turns. She only needs to make up 0.2 of a second to challenge top spot, but the error on the breakaway takes its toll on Elaine Kristen's performance. Kristen down to 4th spot. Austria still leading, early days. Aileen Huppli, 26th position after the first run. Now, Huppli. Remember, the Swiss coach has set the second pattern of turns. Some people can see that as an advantage. Others don't really care that much about it. But I'm a believer, Britt, that a few words of wisdom from the coach to the athlete can just help them a little psychologically, maybe.
Yeah, I would agree. It really can help. We saw that yesterday in the second run. The Austrian set the second run, and the Austrian racer, she was really fast. So yeah, it's that little bit of touch. Coaches, they set at this level, they're setting with quite a bit of feel, and they can pass that on, that inside information onto the athlete.
And it certainly worked with this performance. Huppli into the lead, but it's the time difference that catches the eye. 1.18, the right side of the clock for Huppli there. And, well, not just words of wisdom, a little bit of magic from the coach to Hupplis, because that's going to take some beating. The new target time is considerably lower now, at 1 minute 0.27.28 seconds. Estelle Alphon for the Swedish team is out on track, 25th quickest from the first run. This is the daughter of the great Luc Alphon, an overall and downhill World Cup champion, but with a Swedish mother. Able to race for Sweden. She started off with the French team, now established in the Swedish squad.
Well, and she has the green light ever so slightly. She skis so well, very technically sound, but little mistakes come out every now and then, and that's where the speed in her skiing gets broken. And there are just a couple of mistakes coming down the pitch, but let's see how it goes to finish because the Swiss racer was very fast.
Oh, 0.22 off the pace. You spotted the small error perfectly there, Britt. Alpine knows it as well. That's a shame. She was going incredibly well on the upper part of the challenge, but it's Hupli still leading. Let's go to Lucrezia Lorenzi. Now, Lucrezia Lorenzi, 24th after the first run, coming back from injury. Not a bad performance in yesterday's first run, but stumbled on the second leg to finish 25th in the points, but more expected. Just the narrowest of margin ahead coming into the pitch here.
Yeah, it's going to be really important from here on down to keep that intensity high, keep charging, looking for those rhythm changes. That was nice through the combination. And now into the right-footed delay to bring your speed off the pitch and into these flatter gates to the finish.
Good closeout as well. Third position, 0.74. It's all starting to come back together for Lorenzi. Much better performance today than yesterday. Helene Hupli watches on. First of the French, Caitlin McFarlane. Caitlin, again, in recent World Cup races, has found the top 30, her form and confidence on the A Tour, the Audi FIS World Cup circuit. This is the B Tour, the Europa Cup. Oh, lovely accuracy with the feet. Gambling a little as well to squeeze that extra speed out of the turning ski. This looks smooth. 0.22 off the pace. Oh, there's the mistake now.
Yeah, very smooth across the flats and letting it go a little bit too much, really having to move the feet quick around the next turn, but it's a little bit ever so subtle. It's just the smallest of margins if you're a little bit late in the line and you're not pulling the speed out of every turn.
0.84 off the pace for Caitlin McFarlane. Again, Britt, you called it perfectly. Nice touch on the skis, but just let the race line drop a little deep and low with corrections needed to be made. Another lady that's starting to establish herself on the World Cup Tour is Jessica Hiltzinger. Jessica Hiltzinger can see ahead of her that the snow is starting to rut and cut already. I would say these are the optimum start numbers to get the best of the snow condition here. And of course, for Jessica, 20th and 26th in the last two World Cup slaloms on the women's tour. We expect her to take the lead here.
Yeah, you really can see that rut already starting to develop, so it's really about taking advantage because as that rut develops, the racers that come after are going to have to take a slightly wider, rounder line to set the ski into the rut. And so these early starters on this second run have the advantage.
Good closeout from the German skier. Jessica Hiltzinger misses top position. And Helene Hupli here starting to take some serious scalps. Hiltzinger is in third position. Estelle Alphon, two established World Cup races, but it's still the young Swiss skier at the top of the table. Let's go to Lilia Lapagna, 27-year-old, born in the USA with dual citizenship, opting to race for the United States of America with a Slovenian father, could switch nationalities should she choose. She's a NORAM slalom champion, which is the North American equivalent of the Europa Cup Tour, but she's over here racing the Women's World Cup these days. And Lapagna, nice tempo, loses a little bit of the advantage from the first run, but she's still in touch, just 900ths off the pace at halfway.
Yeah, linking these turns nicely, but this is where you can't hesitate, especially at the top of the turn. That speed that you can develop off the pitch and into the finish line is so important.
0.73 for Lilia Lapagna. Little frustrated, fourth position. She would expect it to go top spots. Another lady that has high expectations and struggled a little here yesterday. This is Andrea Schlocker. For those of you that follow the Audi FIS Alpine Ski Racing World Cup Tour, you'll know that Andrea's on the comeback from injury, yet to hit top form, racing as many competitions as she can now, but only 15th yesterday. You can see she's a class racer. Lovely technique and rhythm, a beautiful pace and tempo to her performance here, Britt.
Yeah, for me, it's the way you can see that she's pulling the outside ski from one turn and connecting it into the outside ski, that power on the outside ski on the next turn. And these are some very nicely linked turns. It's incredibly quick through that combination off the bottom of the pitch.
Very disappointed with her performance yesterday. Andrea Schlocker finally finding top gear, but she's been pipped as well. Ho ho! There's another big surprise here in Malbun, Liechtenstein. Aline Hopley. She cannot believe it, whispering to her friend in the finish area, "I've beaten Andrea Schlocker." And that is the beauty of the Europa Cup, to give the youngsters an opportunity to build their confidence and scalp one or two big names. Here's Liechtenstein's top World Cup slalom racer these days. It is Charlotte Ling in the points in round 2 of the Women's World Cup in Levi, Finland. The course is starting to go against the faster racers now.
Oh, well, she's ever so slightly ahead at the first interval. She was really into the tempo and rhythm of the course right from the first start gate, and now the rhythm changes because you're into the steeps, so your timing has to adjust a little bit, but that aggression and that commitment to the new ski needs to stay the same.
Aline Hopley watches and waits patiently. Has she seen off another? 5th position for Charlotte Ling. Hopley still leads. Good skiing. Look at the top 5. Hopley, Schlocker, Alpine, Hiltzinger, Ling, big names that the young Swiss racer is still holding off. This is Anouk Brandley. Now, Anouk, World Junior Championship silver medalist. And that is some good form that this young Swiss skier brings to this, ahead of Cornelia Öland of Sweden, just pipped by Germaine of Latvia. This has got a nice tempo and a nice balance on the turning ski here. Lovely turns on the upper section, and deservedly 0.35, but another skier makes a huge error on the breakaway, and that 0.3 second advantage surely is gone.
Yeah, she got back into the rhythm really quickly, but that error will be costly because of this transition to the steeps, and the other racers were so fast and clean.
Oh, there's a clear, classic example of how important it is to ski clean and error-free in top-ranked slalom competition. Beautiful execution on the upper part, threw it away on the breakaway. Martina Petellini, another skier that's finding good, consistent form on the Women's World Cup Slalom Tour, with 3 top 15 results against her name this season. Petellini, like Andrea Schlocker, just a little disappointed with her performance here yesterday, only taking 18th position, but she's got the bit between her teeth here. Petellini means business and has the green light at halfway by 0.24 of a second.
Very quick on that left ski, and she moved well with the train change. And now she has to keep this tempo high to carry her speed, because our leader was exceptional on this lower. She really connected the 2 sections of this hill together.
Petellini dives for the line, 3rd position. 0.19 off the pace. Well, it's a very different snow condition. I like the way the organisers have not done too much work on the piece to try and harden it up. This is Cornelia Öland, who was the bronze medalist at the recent World Juniors in Avoriaz in the Porte du Soleil region of the French Alps. Lovely tempo here as well, risking everything, Cornelia Öland. This is really skillful skiing from the Swedish teenager.
Oh yeah, and look at the lead that she has. The intensity is very high, but this is where she needs to keep it together. A little bit of an error, but quick to that new ski. Can she pull this rhythm back now? Because that could be costly as she made that transition into the steeps.
Yeah, it's a change of tactic, rhythm and tempo in the closeout. Now with the finish line within her sights, can Sweden take the lead? Cornelia Öland is there, and look at the time difference. 1/100th of a second, separating first and runner-up position. Andrea Schlocker down to 3rd, but the 18-year-old from Sweden tops the table. And that was a spectacular ski. Let's go to the French team. 15th from the first run. Taking us to the halfway point of this Women's Europa Cup Slalom, Clarisse Brechet.
Well, I think we just witnessed an exceptional ski on the top section from Öland. She set the bar high, and this tempo, well, it's quick, it's fast, but it's not what we just saw from Öland.
And the clock agrees with you, Britt. She's 0.37 off the pace. Oh, and that tentative start runs through to the most difficult breakaway, changeover, and steepest part of the challenge. Brechet just giving the mountain a little too much respect. Rather, the new Swedish leader just ripped up the ruts. Brechet, a split second of hesitation forces the error. And her race is over. A DNF for the French racer. $14 left to challenge. Let's move on. It's going to get very heated now. Any one of these remaining skiers could take top position. Wearing bib number 16 next in the gate is Beatrice Sola. 14th quickest from the first run. Nice and relaxed, loose with the style. Good wide foot position and hip width apart the skis, and that allows Sola to find good speed. But I like the way she's nice and early in the racing line, Britt.
Yeah, she is nice and early. She's ahead of the course. Again, a little bit of error, and it's all about how quickly can you recover over that breakaway. We are seeing the errors come from almost all the racers. But
and Beatrice with a big crash, getting the weight just a little back on the skis. I would say a couple of gates too early as she was looking ahead, Britt, for that transition from steep to flat and then the close.
Yeah, I think that was exactly it. She knew the right-footed delay was coming up and started to just release the turn a little bit too soon and found herself too far onto the tails of the skis.
Well, good to see that Beatrice is unhurt. Skis are back on. She'll make her way down to the finish area. Look at the wind picking up here. This has been the worry throughout the day of the race, jury. Switzerland are next in the gate. 13 left to challenge for the podium positions here in Malbun, Liechtenstein. Selina Egloff. Now, let's see if Egloff, who was 24th yesterday, in a much better position today after the first run. Nice, smooth, clean, confident work on the upper section.
We're having a little bit of trouble on some of these combinations. There are a lot of rhythm changes on that opening section, and they're getting pushed wide and low, taking quite a few gates to get back into the rhythm, to pull her line high again so she can drive through the turn with good speed.
Yeah, and the focus has gone now. Another clear example, error-free, top to bottom, as Egloff drops down into 12th position. The wind is still gusting here in Malbun, Liechtenstein. Here's the replay of the error that Britt spotted perfectly. This breakaway, I hope the coaches are getting the information to the faster skiers that you really do need to come into that terrain change. It's almost a blind gate on the roll with a real positive move. Marta Rossetti, top 5 performance on the World Cup Tour, is a skier we must watch carefully here. Rossetti, 5th in Killington, Vermont, round 3 of the World Cup Slalom Tour for this season. And look at Rossetti searching for more speed here, going through the gears, charging the upper section. She has the green light, but she's only 200ths ahead of the young Swedish leader.
That was good anticipation as she came over the breakover, but now having trouble lower down on the pitch, getting really tight to the gates, but she's catching the gates a little bit too much. It's throwing her wide on the line on the next turn.
It's a strong finish from the Italian. She dives for the line. She misses top position by the narrowest of margins that we measure. Alpine ski racing in 1/100th off the pace of Cornelia Uland, who can hardly believe it. The Swedish teenager still at the top of the table, and this is one of the serious rising stars from the World Cup. Uland has picked up another big scalp here. 1/100th of a second quicker than Marta Rossetti of Italy. It's the British #1 next in the gate. Charlie Guest on the podium here yesterday in 2nd position. Charlie knows she needs a big second run charge. 10th quickest after the first run, but less than half a second behind Leona Popovic. She really does need to get accurate with the feet and aggressive with the mind.
Yeah, exactly. She needs to take her confidence from yesterday and just put that into full commitment here on this second run. She said yesterday that she's raced here before. She knows this hill well. Oh, there's a little error. She got caught on the inside ski and loses speed as she makes that transition into the pitch here.
Yeah, I have to report it's not clean enough from Charlie here. She's also not getting the clean arc in the turning ski, and it will not be back-to-back podiums for the British number one, I fear. Charlie Guest drops down into 8th position. Not as efficient or as effective with the turning ski, I'd say, Britt, certainly in comparison to yesterday's performance.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see it started here with this air moving too much to the inside ski, and that carried down through this lower part of the course.
It's got to be error-free if you're going to beat the likes of Leona Popovic, and it's the World Junior Championship bronze medalist that still leads. Emilia Mondinelli was on the podium in 3rd position here yesterday. Tears of joy, couldn't find the words to express her joy. But on day 2 here in Malbun, Liechtenstein, can Mondinelli find a second run charge?
Well, good clean skiing. She's really found the rhythm out of the start, but for these later starters in the top 30, the tactics have to change ever so slightly. They're going to have to feel the rut and step into it strong and then release on the exit, because there is a bit of a groove developing and a change in line is needed.
Yeah, they're going to need to wipe the goggles at some point as well. That rain is starting to stick to our cameras on track here, but Emilia Mondinelli is in touch. Emilia Mondinelli in the closeout. Oh, just loses it a few turns from home. 400ths off the pace, and she's in 4th position. Can you believe that? Marta Rossetti and Alina Hupli tie for 2nd. Öland leads for Sweden. And this is Mondinelli with a good performance, but 400ths off the pace and still not making the podium. Wow. Now, Hanna Aronson-Elfman, another former world junior champion from a family of ski races. 3 top 20 results against her name from the World Cup A Tour. Here we are in the Europa Cup. The weather continues to deteriorate, the piste continues to rut and cut, but this is a lovely opening rhythm from the young Swedish racer Aronson-Elfman.
Yeah, this is a really good charge here on the opening section, not too dissimilar to her teammate Cornelia Oland. Perhaps she stood at the top and watched her attack and take a little extra out of that opening section. And again, clean here on the second part of the track where it gets steeper.
Oh, she's on all cylinders here. Little error, 5 from home, but that is our new leader. And the target time is dropped considerably. 0.65 of a second quicker. It is Hanna Aronson-Elfman that put Sweden into a 1-2 scenario. I love the execution on the steep here, Britt.
Yeah, I think that's one of the cleanest and smoothest transitions we've seen so far. And just really pulling her speed, all that speed that she built up on the opening flats, she took it down that difficult, steep section.
Yeah, that is nice skiing, and a deserved smile there from Hanna. There's still another 2 Swedes to go, back to back. Here's the first top group start number, Moa Bergström-Musner, 8th quickest from the first run. A very strong, giant slalom racer, but let's see her slalom skills here, because right now the Swedish team can do no wrong.
Yeah, they've got a lot of good momentum here, and that's what you need to do. When you've got a strong team, one good result can fuel the others to lift up and match that level.
Oh, Britt, she's got the green light, just drops a little low and late on the entry to the steep pitch, but still charging here.
Yeah, it moves quick through this combination, and then it's a couple quick open gates as you go from the steep onto this flat section that brings you into the finish line.
Carrying the speed nicely here, and it is 2nd position. Sweden, 1, 2, and 3. They are loving these conditions and really excelling. They've got another skier next in the gate, Elsa Fernbeck. Good recovery skills here. That is the key. Success to the slalom skier. We know there are lots of errors, but it's the speed of recovery. And I love the way that Moa Bergström-Musner kept fighting and goes 2nd in the standings. 7 left to go. Elsa Fernbeck, another skier that has got multiple slalom Europa Cup podiums against her name. She's starting to make a breakthrough. She's coming back from injury after a very successful 21-22 tour, missed 23. But the confidence and the fast moves are all coming back slowly but surely for Fernbeck. She's 0.22 off the pace. Maybe a little tentative on the opening turns.
Yeah, just ever so slightly. It's not much, but there's that slight hesitation because we've seen her teammates really charge that opening section and take as much speed as they possibly could from the course.
0.22 is well within her reach, clean and smooth to the finish line. Oh, Elsa Fernbeck ties for third position. Now we have 4 Swedish racers on the podium. Oh, with 6 left to challenge.
Well, they sure are. They're looking incredibly strong. That was a very clean and smooth skiing it tactically a little bit differently than her teammates, but just slots right in there with the rest of them.
Oh, well. Hanna Aronson-Elfman leads. Boström Musner second. Ulen third. Tying for third with Fernbeck. Can anybody stop the Swedish domination here? Now, Lisa Horaga was the queen of the second run charge here 24 hours ago. Moving up from 16th to 4th position in the race. And again, the second run charge is on the cards here from this talented young Austrian racer, searching for more speed, attacking the set, and looking very good here. Green light, but just 1/100th of a second the right side of the clock. Oh! And there's that blind gate on the roller, taking the Austrian skier out of the race. You could see it coming almost, Britt.
Yeah, you could. She had so much speed from that opening section and skied so well. Here it is. She gets a little bit late here on the right-footed turn and then just doesn't adjust. Already the hands are behind her and the hips are behind on the tails of the skis.
This is such an exciting Europa Cup race on the women's tour, but not the finale that Lisa Horaga was hoping for. 4 Swedes owning the podium right now with 5 racers left to challenge. This could be a record-breaking performance for the Swedish B team. Not if Marion Chevrier has anything to say about it. Here's the French skier finishing the first run in 5th position. Can she take advantage of the time difference that she brings forward from the first leg and stop this Swedish clean sweep?
Oh, and you're just having a little bit of trouble with the rhythm changes and the rut that is there. You can see the shoulders and the upper body coming upright and back. So losing a little bit the line. But there, nice quick transition into the steeps. Can she find this rhythm back in the tempo again on this second run?
She's left herself a lot to find. 0.69 seconds off the pace now. 22-year-old French racer starts to change the tempo and pace as she dives for the finish line. She drops down the standings, down from 5th to 12th position. This course is getting rougher and tougher as the ruts deepen. Once you make that mistake, so difficult to regain the all-important race line. Four to go. Bianca Bakke-Vesthoff for Norway will be next in the gate. Now, this young lady, twice runner-up in the Zellamzee Europa Cup slaloms back in January of this season. Can she make this one count? Currently lying 4th in the Europa Cup slalom tour standings for the season. Good control, nice technique, high and early in that race line in these opening turns, Britt.
Yeah, it's really good. She's matching the tempo of the course. There's so many combinations on those opening 20 gates. And there she breaks over into the steeps. Slight error. We've seen some cleaner transitions, but it's all about making sure she rebuilds her speed here, but just getting caught on the end of the turn, having to push the skis a little bit hard.
Oh, she's shooting for the podium here, and she just grabs 3rd position, 0.53. That knocks Uland and Fernbeck into joint 4th position. The Swedish domination ended by the Norwegian skier. Good recovery skills, I'd say, in this performance.
Yeah, it wasn't the cleanest of runs, but she didn't do enough to take the lead, but she slotted herself into that top 3.
Yeah, she slots herself into 3rd spot with 3 to go. Good skills, good skiing. Now the Europa Cup Slalom Tour leader, Nickel Good, is the next racer to go. Nicole, who won the second slalom of the season in Italy, lies third after the first leg. Look at those ruts, Britt, in the first 4 turns. You have to be absolutely prepared and in the zone from the get-go.
Yeah, you do. You have to feel the grip. You feel the outside ski right away and not let those ruts phase you. But you also have to know that you have to anticipate them and not let them throw you out of the course. This is very smooth for considering how rough the course is getting. Oh, a little bit of trouble now here on the steep. She's done the work that she needs to do up on the upper part of the course, but she has to keep it together here on the steeper section.
Oh, she's really keeping her calm and cool under pressure here. Nicole Good here, not only looking for the win today, but also a chance at the Tour title. Second position, 80 points will be scored, pushing Bustrom Musner down into third place. Wonderful skiing, I would say, from Nicole Good. Britt, a lot of pressure to carry as the current Tour leader.
Yeah, she really does have a lot of pressure, and she struggled yesterday in yesterday's race, so it was really about picking up some strong points here in this second race.
2 left to challenge. Hannah Aronson Elfman leads. Nicole Good on screen has gone second, and Bustrom Musner is third. 2 races to go. Another from the Swiss team, Elena Stoffel, who for me skied beautifully on the first run. Let's see how she copes with the ruts and bumps now as we've reversed the top 30. Now, Elena sets up early. It was such a fluid style, brimming with confidence, and she brings that style to the piece for a second time of asking. Elena Stoffel here for the Swiss team, going through the gears and finding a lovely tempo and pace in the opening section of the challenge.
Yeah, and she started the first run 26, so she's used to the ruts that are here. Oh, having a little bit of trouble just as she comes off the flats. Oh, that's a big error.
That's a big error, well spotted, and she scrubs off a lot of the speed and momentum. Elena now starts to rebuild. Oh, and the urgency, it's gone again. She's thrown it away here. 2 major mistakes from the Swiss skier. Elena Stoffel takes her out of the hunt and down the standings to 26th position. That is bitterly disappointing for Elena, but she was way off on the steep, and another costly error in the transition from the steep to the flat on the lower part of the challenge puts pay to Elena's dream of a top 3 today. 1 race left to go. Have Sweden won this race, or will Leona Popovic of Croatia do the double? Leona Popovic on the podium on the Women's World Cup Slalom Tour. So good to see her come back to the B Tour to fine-tune her skills in preparation for the tech races in Åre, Sweden in early March. Popovic, no sign of nerves whatsoever, wonderfully relaxed. She's got a beautiful, dynamic and aggressive technique and style, but there's a couple of errors creeping in here, Britt.
Yeah, just that one little error there, but the charge, the aggression that she brings to her skiing helps her recover quickly. Oh, and there's an error for the breakover.
No, she saves it, but surely that hands the victory to Hannah Aronson Elfman. Huge mistake on the rollover, which has been the bogey gate for so many. She battles bravely to try and regain the lead. I'm not sure it's enough. The error is way too big. Leona Popovic, 15th position. What a victory for Sweden. And Hannah Aronson Elfman, top spot ahead of Nicole Good. In runner-up position, will hold top position in the Slalom Tour standings for the Europa Cup. And Moa Bustrom Musner takes 3rd spot. She did well to recover from this mistake, Britt, but scrubs off way too much speed and time.
Yeah, just didn't make the adjustment, and I didn't, to be honest, I didn't expect that. There she is, already late in the line. Well, an incredible recovery to stay in the track. Most would find themselves out of the course in a DNF. So she does make it to finish and cross the line, but just too much of a costly error.
Well, it always promised to be a real shootout for the second leg, with less than half a second separating the top 10. And look at the piste conditions here, something that you wouldn't see on the World Cup. It's testing the skiing skills to the maximum. It's made for a wonderful race, I have to say here. Congratulations to all in Malbun, Liechtenstein. But Europa Cup 7 of 10 on the Women's Tour goes to Hannah Aronson Elfman of Sweden. Nicole Good to the left of your picture, taking runner-up spot. And Moa Bergström Mussene taking third. Westhoff for Norway in fourth. Cornelia Uland, the teenage sensation from the Swedish team, tying for fifth with her teammate Fernbeck. Charlie Guest also struggled on the second leg. A podium performance yesterday, 16th for the British number one here today, just behind Leona Popovic. What a great race that was, and congratulations to the Swedish team in general, who revelled in these conditions. 4 athletes in the top 5 due to that tie for 5th position. Very good racing indeed, and I'm hoping we've got time to not only look at the flower ceremony here as we're battling to beat this storm that feels like it's just moments away, but also have a quick chat with Hannah, our winner today as well, and see how much it means to her to win on this Europa Cup. It's going to be interesting, isn't it, Britt, because the World Cup Tour kicks off, I think it's the 9th and 10th of March in Åre, Sweden. These girls all battling for a spot and a start number in their World Cup squad.
Yeah, they came out here at the second run with a different level of intensity than the rest of them, I'd say, and some very impressive skiing as a group, as that team, that momentum. Well, I sure hope they're going to carry that right into the World Cup in Åre in 2 weeks' time.
Yes, and let's take a look. Here she is again, carrying bib number 20. For me, one of the few to get this very difficult steep section. You're coming in blind off the flat above it. You have to trust your visualization, trust your skills. But she came, Britt, to the top of the steep pitch in perfect balance and poise.
Hello.
And let's hear from the winner.
Hi, how do you feel after your victory? Is it your first victory in European Cup?
Yes, I'm super happy. It's my first victory in the European Cup, so I'm so happy. And I've been struggling a little bit, but now I finally feel like my skiing is coming back, so I'm super happy.
Thank you.
Well, good words from the youngster. I think she'll be even happier if the coach tells her that performance gets her to the World Cup in early March. Let's hear what she has to say in her mother tongue.
Jag är skitglad. Det var jättekul att åka och superfin backe och ja, jag är jätteglad.
Thank you so much and congratulations again.
Well, a former world junior champion in giant slalom, showing us her slalom skills here today. It means the race is in the book because we've got 30 of the skiers safely down the mountain, and a very impressive ski on these difficult weather conditions from the Swedish team in general. But it is Hannah Aronson-Elfman that records a total time of 1:26.62 to take the victory. Now we're going to move on through the skiers to the 60th position. That's the rule and regulation of the tour. It's Kim van Roozel that is out on course. Belgium racer had a good day in the office yesterday, finishing in 12th position from start number 66. She had a better start number today from bib 29. Let's see if she can put on a second run challenge. Still a possibility, Britt, for some of these later races to pick off a few points by making the top 30 by the end of play today.
Yeah, exactly. That's the key here now in the second run. Find a good, strong second run, get into that top 30, pick up a few more Europa Cup points because that improves your start number as you collect those Europa Cup points by finishing in the top 30.
28th position for Kim van Roozel. Emily Henning of Sweden is next on course, 32nd after the first run.
Yeah, good clean skiing here on the top. So important with these combinations, not to let them throw you off and lose your timing. And slalom really is, it's always about that change in rhythm, that constant change in rhythm, because you have these combinations in the middle of the course. That's quick through that one there in the steep pitch. Those are always the most challenging when you have a combination set in the middle of a pitch.
And again, the Swedish team continue to show their form. Really getting on well with these conditions. Marielle Kufas, 33rd after the first run. The best of the Norwegians was Bianca Backe-Westhoff, 4th position, her final placing here today. And Bianca's in the chase with Nicole Good for top position in the slalom tour standings after 7 rounds of 10, just to let you know that the next two slaloms on the Women's Europa Cup Tour will be in Klappen in Sweden on the 13th and 14th of March, and then their finals in Hafjell, the site for the technical races of the 1994 Winter Olympic Games, for the Europa Cup finals. Tech races first on the 16th and 17th, and then the speed races from the 19th to the 22nd. 29th position for Marielle Kufas. Zita Tot, we move on to now from the Hungarian team, finishing her first run in 34th position, sadly a DNF on the second leg. French skier is next to challenge, carrying bib 60. Looking to make the top 30 is Annabelle Jallet, 35th position after the first run.
Well, it's fantastic to see that the weather is held off so that we can finish this race. Conditions have changed a little bit differently compared to yesterday's race, but it is still very much manageable. There's a groove that's been set, but now for these later starters, you have to find that groove, set your ski. You can really use it to your advantage. If you fight it and let it push you low in the line, then it becomes a real challenge and you start to really lose some speed turn after turn.
Well, considering how many races have been down this track over the past 2 days, congratulations to the organising committees here. They've done a brilliant job, in particular Hans-Peter Waller, Pascal Hassler, and of course Jordi Rujol of the FIS, the International Ski and Snowboard Federation. I think this Europa Cup live here on FIS TV has been a great success, some thrilling racing. We now just focus on the later numbers to see if anybody can charge into the top 30 to pick up some points. This is Ambra Pomer from the Italian team, 36th position from the first run. Then you just go to the little box in the right-hand side of your viewing screen, and we see Valentina Ringsvana, 31st position for Pomer of Italy. Then we go straight into the Austrian, who's already a good third of the way down the challenge.
Skiing skills, technique really strong here on the upper part. To me, watching these later starters, you know, they might be a little bit off the pace. The only difference is that intensity. Our faster skiers bring a different intensity, and that's that commitment and confidence that they carry from results they've had in the past. So it's just a matter of building some race experience here for these later starters.
The young Austrian skis out, just needs to make sure she doesn't get in the way of the next racer on course. This is Lorena Zelga.
So there's this quick combinations here on the flats. They are not easy. It might be a flatter, easier part of the course, but because the course setter has put in so many combinations, that can really throw off your tempo and your rhythm.
Yeah, that's a great description, Britt. And there are still sections of the piece that are in really good condition. Zelga goes into 33rd position. Back to the Italian youngster, Tatum Bila.
Oh, she's taking some risks here on the upper part of the course. You really see how she's letting the skis go out wide. Oh, but it's one risk too many as she comes off the flats and into the steep.
Yeah, deserves a little bit of credit, the Italian young lady, really pushing it as hard as she can. Let's go to the German team next. Charlotte Grandinger, 40th position after the first run. Love that reverse camera angle, not only showing you how the importance of the skier getting that turning ski loaded and rounded with the rut. It also shows you how tight and technical these turns really are on the upper section. It's not an easy race. You can clearly see, Britt, the difference between a FIS and a Europa Cup race. This is testing the best today.
Yeah, it really is, and it's been really interesting to see. We've got the same course, the same hill 2 days in a row, but 4 different courses, and it'll challenge you. Each and every course challenges you in a little bit different way, so it's really drawing on all the skills of these racers.
Oh, that's a shame for Charlotte, just missing the points, taking 33rd position. And that's Annette Belfrond next on course. Again, nice balance over that turning ski. And here's a classic example, isn't it, Britt, really, that when you're moving up the world rankings in your quest to become a World Cup racer, it's important to train and race in all types of conditions. Because if today was your World Cup debut, it would have still gone ahead this race. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah, I would say it would have gone ahead, and you do have to be able to ski all conditions, train in all conditions, and also make that decision in your mind that you're going to go for it and you're going to commit no matter what.
Yeah, and add to that the travel and the miles. It's a World Cup global tour. The men are in California, Palisades, Tahoe right now, whilst the women are in the Italian Dolomites. Very different mountains, very different snow conditions, and that is why the skill set of any racer in World Cup racing, downhill, Super G, giant slalom, needs to be wide, varied, and really skilled. Leonie Reich of the Austrian team, 33rd position, 4.83 off the pace of Hannah Aronson-Elfman, who for me now, Britt, I think I'm fair in saying has won this race, has won the 7th round of 10 on the Europa Cup Slalom Tour, and has won the second race here of this Sunrise Europa Cup. Nicole Good is in 2nd position, Boström Musner is in 3rd, and sadly, Madeleine Beck, one of the local skiers here in Malbun, has DNF'd on the 2nd run. Sweden, 1st, 3rd, and joint 5th. Swedish coach will be happy with his skiers today. Let's move on to Austria. Natalie Falk on course.
Really nice technique. You can see how much there's an ease to her skiing, the way she moves from right foot to left foot, outside ski to outside ski. The shins are matched. Oh, well, she makes that same error as the racer before her.
You really need to make a positive move as you come to the end of that flat section. You need to be aware that that blind gate is coming, and you need to be pressuring that ski before you get to the roller or the terrain change. Anine Thorsen for Norway is next out on track.
There's those quick
after the first run.
combinations.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Britt.
Tough on the right foot there. Those right-footed gates pull a little bit more. From our angle, it is flat, but those turns, well, they're not easy. It's not easy to stay in the rhythm of the course.
It's a good point that you make. Some ruts are deeper than others. The snow condition also looks to be different. Icy and firm on the left foot, but very bumpy on the right and soft to go with it. Now, Astrid Hedden is away on the right of your screen for Thorsen of Norway, 35th position. We'll now home in on Astrid's performance. She's about 15-20 gates into the challenge here.
Here's the transition off the flats with speed. Already she moves into the back seat over that blue gate, but she manages to hang on. She stays in the course and gets back into the rhythm.
So this is Moa Landström. My apologies. Next is Astrid Hedden. One ahead of myself there. Moa Landström just slips into 29th position. She'll be happy with that. Now let's take a look at Hedden. 3.77 off the pace. Remember, red light tells us they have time to find on our current leader. Green light tells us they're the quickest at that point on the mountain.
Well, this is really nice skiing here on the bottom, not giving any respect to the lower part of this course, the steeper section, more challenging section.
Hedden goes 36th. Another talented young Swedish skier out on course. This is Liv Sida, a giant slalom, Europa Cup winner on tour in Meyerhofen back in December. Oh, but not today. And that's a nasty hit on the gate. And it shows you how it goes from a relatively flat pitch to a very steep one from the full there from the young Swedish racer. Valentina Futscheller, Austrian skier, 49th position after the first run with bib number 49. Maybe that will bring her a bit of luck.
You get a good look at the quick transition that you need to make in these combinations on the flats. And you can see that groove that's building, because it's almost like her feet disappear and then they come back into view again. So having to really manage the changing conditions on this course, as well as match the rhythm of the course and remember what she inspected from, you know, an hour or so ago.
Well, in these very difficult conditions for the later numbers, she's holding her own here for Schella. Does she make the top 30 is her target and quest? Oh, she's left herself too much to do from the first run. 40th position, 5.58 seconds off the pace of our Swedish leader. Silja Koskinen for the Finnish team is next on track.
A couple of quick turns here just as you exit the flats. That's what brings all the speed into the pitch, and we're seeing a lot of the racers having trouble manage that speed that they pull from the flats and making that transition. Just some subtle errors here, but while she's charging, it's not short on effort. Oh, she
that
goes
is a
down
real
to
shame.
finish.
You spotted it perfectly, Britt. She was getting good pace and tempo, but that is a DNF. Ina Holland is on course for the Norwegian team.
Let's see how she goes here. She comes off the flats. Yeah, that was a nice move. Really adjusted well, got that early grip on the ski, so then she can decide when she wants to make the next turn, and she's right on line.
It's a nice tight line through that undergate to bring her into the closeout. And Ina Holland, 41st position. Her teammate is out on course, Bjornesgaard.
Well, I think it's getting a little bit brighter, a little bit of sun coming out, perhaps making it easier to see the rut now.
So here's an opportunity. We've seen this happen many times before in international ski competition at all levels. Mother Nature can very often deal you a lucky hand. And Britt, you've spotted it perfectly. Visibility is the best it's been all day right now. And 42nd position for Bjornsgaard of Norway. Here's the Kiwi out on course, Michaela Smythe, looking to emulate the success of Alice Robinson that really has found top gear on the Women's World Cup Tour. But sadly for Michaela, it's a DNF on the second run, did not finish. Laura Klein for Germany, 54th position from the first run. A lot of these later numbers now are the young skiers that are getting their taste of Europa Cup for the first season, moving up from FIS races. I have to say, Britt, I've been impressed with the quality of the competition, but also the technique of some of the youngsters here. Let's take Uland, Cornelia Uland, only 18 years of age, 5th position on the Europa Cup Tour. The quality of ski technique at this level is most impressive.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree. It's been 2 days of very exciting racing. Not the easiest of conditions, but the skills of the racers, well, they've just reacted so well to these conditions and to this course. And it's been very exciting to watch.
Yeah, and I also like the way that they've come to the race hill, knowing that some of the big stars are in town, Leona Popovic, Andrea Schlocker, but they've still given it everything. I think the Swedish girls, with their mental approach to the second run of this race, were quite exceptional today. This is Tomsic of Slovenia. Christine Jakobsen is skiing for Norway in the right, two on the track at once. 5.37 seconds off the pace for Nika Tomsic, pulling up a few spots into 39th position. This is Jakobsen. Oh, just getting forced a little deep and low in that racing line due to the rut, forcing her to ski that rounder line, a DNF. Julia Fletcher for Austria, 57th after the first run. Just 3 to go now.
That's such a great angle from behind because you can see that rut, but you can also see how much commitment it takes to that outside ski and the upper body going down the middle of the quarter, the strength you need to hold that strong, quick turn on the slalom ski.
Oh, look how the racer gets thrown. And before the steep pitch, that's a DNF for the Austrian. Poland are next in the gate. This is Darla Kraveshka. Now, Kraveshka has a chance here. Let's not forget she started with bib number 80, Britt. And if she can just pull up another few places, again, this is another rising star from the Polish ski team. We're enjoying Daniela Gaszunica on the women's tour in giant slalom and slalom. And Luszak is another Polish skier that's made a breakthrough this season. Oh, that is such a shame. Right on track to take the Warrior of the Day prize from bib 80 to a potential top 30. And that is a real shame for the Polish skier. Klopfenstein for Switzerland is the penultimate skier in this second round, bringing today's race to a close. I want to say it again, Britt, congratulations to the organising committee, forced to bring the schedule forward by up to 2 hours to try and beat this storm that's forecast to bring a lot of high wind to this winter resort of Malbun in Liechtenstein. And that changing of the schedule may be a little frustrating for 1 or 2 of our viewers, but it means that they've got the race away and a very successful double slalom here in Liechtenstein. Swiss racer Klopfenstein, 6.36 off the pace of our Swedish winner Hanna Aronsson-Elfman. 1 skier left to go. Lien Bonder from Latvia, 84 into the top 60. Can she now try and challenge again and make the top 30? Latvia is another national ski association with some very talented skiers on their books right now. And some, for those of you that follow this Europa Cup tour, Zenifera Germain, Jenny as she's often referred to. Oh, and there's another sad picture of a DNF and a crash from Lien Bonder. Well, that brings us to the end of this second run. Let's take a look in a slow-mo replay at the podium positions. Moa Boström-Musner of an informed Swedish team taking second. Nicole Good battled for her points today and will collect another 80, staying top of the slalom tour standings after 7 of 10 rounds. But it was Hanna Aronsson-Elfman that skied beautifully with a lovely tempo, pace and timing to her work. A deserved winner for me, taking top spot by 0.22 of a second ahead of Nicole Good and 0.37 ahead of her teammate. There's the confirmation of the results. Sweden, Switzerland and Sweden. And with 2 Swedes tying for 5th spot. Well, what a day for the Swedish team here. Charlie Guest unable to add a second podium to her superb performance here yesterday. And yesterday's winner, Leona Popovic of Croatia, ending her day in 15th position in a very difficult weather race here in Malbun. Congratulations to the local organising committee for getting this race away. Congratulations to Hanna Aronsson-Elfman, taking this 7th Europa Cup slalom of the season and taking it under tough snow and weather conditions. Nicole Good draws clear in the chase for the Slalom Tour title on the Women's B Europa Cup Tour. Vestov and Dorian Escan second and third. Nicole Good, I believe, skied very cleverly today. A sensible performance from the Swiss racer, rather than risking no points at all, putting in a great performance. But there's all the race jury and coaches congratulating the Swedish coach with 3 athletes in the top 5. That brings us to the end of our live coverage from Malbun in Liechtenstein. Huge thank you to the Apex Academy for allowing Britt Yannick to join us as our expert analyst. And from the FIS TV team and myself, Nick Fellows, many thanks for your company. It's goodbye for now.